The West is collecting the taxes from the Westerners to wage wars in the Middle East. And to what he's saying is to give the military the equipment to wage wars, to kill people.
The criticism is not that Muslims can give Sadaqah to non-Muslims. That's not a criticism. I'm not, wait, you wanted to be listened to, right? That's not the criticism I'm making. The criticism that I'm making is Zakat is a discriminatory tax. That's the criticism that I'm making. I'm criticizing Zakat for three reasons. I'm going to explain. One, Zakat is a discriminatory tax. That's criticism number one. Criticism number two is that Zakat is it restricts goodness. It restricts the good that you can do because you can't move it above 2.5%. It's capped at 2.5%, which leads to my third criticism of Zakat. And my third criticism of Zakat is that there are better tax redistributive systems in the world today that outdo Zakat. And if Islam is the perfect religion with a perfect system, how is it we've got better tax systems than the Islamic Zakat system? That's my criticism.
So first, on your first criticism, thank you very much. You made your point. So first, how can Zakat be discriminatory when it is a burden on Muslims? When it is a burden on Muslims. This is first, because when you talk about discrimination, is in the context of giving rights. Okay, so first, Zakat is a burden on Muslims. How can it be discriminatory when it is a burden? This is first. Second, it is capped. Why? It is capped because it is a progressive, let's say, tax. It's a compulsory charity, not tax, but it's a progressive. It means that the wealthiest man pays more. Why? Because if you apply 2.5 on its wealth, it will be more than a less wealthiest person. It is capped to not, for the government of Islamic government to not abuse it and change it and increase it. Why? Because they are failing their expenditure policies. So it is capped and regulated to protect Muslims who are paying. Thirdly, I join you when you say there is other symmetric systems where it is highly recommended that you implement it instead of Zakat. Is that right? That's what you said, yeah? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I just finished the third point. So, Islam in general, of course, impose Zakat on Muslims. However, it does also can back that with taxes for other expenditures like the army, hospitals, roads, etc., with minor taxes.
Can I reply now?
I didn't finish. So the taxes, the tax system with the Zakat is not completely forbidden in Islam. We can use it. However, the Zakat, which is compulsory charity, is you need to give it to certain types.
Okay, so allow me to reply, bro.
They are protected. Okay? So I reply to your first, second, and third.
Okay, so let me reply. You ready? Action. So the reason why it is a discriminatory tax is we've got to recognize what a discriminatory tax is. If a tax is only applied to one people for the benefit of one people, then it is discriminatory if the benefit is not to all of its citizens.
Yes.
Now, and this is what we see in Zakat. It is taken from rich Muslims and only given to poor Muslims.
No.
And no, don't interrupt.
No,
right, from this point forward, I am going to interrupt you whenever I want. If you interrupt me again, if you interrupt me again, I will interrupt you whenever I want. So, it is a discriminatory tax because it cannot be given. It cannot be given, and I'm now going to interrupt you whenever I want. It cannot be given to Christians or Jews, so it is discriminatory. And the argument was that we can have other taxes that create other public kind of institutions that benefit everybody. But if you create roads from other taxes and hospitals from other taxes, then the Muslims also benefit. So that means they have a double benefit. They receive from the general tax and they receive from the special tax. And there is no equivalent obligated in Islamic law for the Christians. There is no equivalent tax that's taken from rich Christians and distributed to poor Christians. It doesn't exist, and therefore that is discrimination. Secondly, the criticism that it caps the good. The maximum, and the brother tried to do a bit of taqiyya here. He tried to do a bit of a lie here. He tried to say it was obligatory charity. Obligatory charity is not charity. If it's obligatory, it's a tax. If it's enforced by the state, it's a tax. Tax is a free offering, a free donation that you do from your heart. That's what the scripture's saying. We'll come on to the Christian equivalent. The third defense of my argument is that there are better systems of tax than zakat. Example, the British system of tax. We give over 20% of our national budget in redistributive taxes, ladies and gentlemen. Over 20%. And then when we include the NHS, together with the welfare state, over 50% of our tax burden is redistributive in nature to help the poor. Zakat limits it at 2.5%. The problem with that is, as you can see across the Islamic world, is poverty is everywhere across the Islamic world. Some of the richest people in the world are Muslims, these emirs. And the maximum that they can give is 2.5%. Would you like to do it timed? Because I'm going to interrupt you. We're going to do it timed, but don't complain when I interrupt you, because you interrupted me.
No, I'm listening to you
right?
respectfully. I didn't interrupt.
Yes, you did, and you're interrupting me right now.
Right.
Still, you're interrupting right now.
We need to be fair.
Well, let's do it timed.
Time, yeah?
So can we get a timer? We're going to do 3 minutes, 3 minutes. Do you want to time it, Amir? I trust Amir.
You need to count how much he spoke. Okay?
No, we're going to do 3 minutes, 3 minutes from here.
You already
Brother, you jumped into my conversation.
Okay. No, you accepted me.
Yes.
Okay, so you need to be
fair. So let's do 3 minutes, 3 minutes.
To be fair.
So we'll start 3 minutes. We're doing 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
So if you start again, I will speak 6 minutes.
Brother, no.
This gentleman.
Brother, right. Let's be clear. You wanted to join this conversation that I was having with this brother. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, he's obviously lost his ability to conduct himself. He is interrupting. Right now he's interrupting.
Do you want to get 1 minute to wrap it up, and then he gets 4 minutes, and then you can get back?
And then 4 minutes, 4 minutes. No. Right. No, sorry. I'm not agreeing to 6 minutes.
4 minutes.
You're getting 4 minutes. You're getting 4 minutes. So I'll finish off in 1 minute.
5 minutes.
You're not getting 5. He's getting 4.
No.
4. No. Okay, go away, brother. Go away. Bro, I'm not interested in talking to you anymore.
Your land.
So, it is my land actually.
It's not your land.
This is my land actually.
No,
this is my land.
Yes,
it's the public land, and I'm part of the public. It's not yours either. So ladies and gentlemen.
Okay?
So ladies and gentlemen, right? Because he can't conduct himself properly, he can't complain when I interrupt him, and I will interrupt him going forward.
He's been tyrannical.
Right? So I'm going to finish. I'm going to land now.
Please finish.
So my 3 criticisms remain standing. Zakat is a discriminatory tax. Zakat does limit the goodness that Muslims can do, and there are better tax systems than Zakat in the world. In other words, Zakat as a tax system is outdone by other systems of tax. And if Zakat was part of a perfect system, it should be a perfect tax system. But we see, for very good reasons, 3 so far, that it is something that should be rejected by noble souls, and it should be rejected, thank you, it should be rejected by noble souls, and it should be rejected by pragmatic souls, and it should be rejected by sensible souls. So that's how I'm going to land. So 4 minutes.
Okay, so this gentleman says that first criticism, Islam does not give zakat to non-Muslim, poor non-Muslim people. Umar ibn al-Khattab the second caliph, go to history, he gave a Jewish blind old man from the budget, from the zakat, money to sustain his life to his death. This is first thing, okay? Umar ibn
So that's not zakat?
Gave zakat to this. The money, okay, collected in the house of budget is from the zakat as well. Okay, so he gave this Jewish man, blind old man, okay, allowances until he dead, he dead. So first thing, this is your claim that zakat is not given, give it to non-Muslims. You cannot sustain this. Second, what did you say? Secondly.
It's your 4 minutes.
All right. So secondly, he said that Islam zakat is a tax. Okay, I'm a law graduate. One of the courses is UK taxes. It is a tax because it goes and be expended to roads,
So it
to
is a tax.
airport, to NHS, to everything. Zakat, you can't spend it to these things. You can only spend it to poor people, to people who are working.
That's just
with
called
these
budgeting.
Poor, okay, so
That's
is
just
a
called budgeting.
charity. It is to level up poor people.
the same with British government.
However, Islam does not prohibit a similar backup system of taxes to make expenditure to build roads, to back up the NHS.
It's the same with the
etc.
British government's tax
So-
system.
So you need to first read the history.
Welfare can't
and
be given
second-
to anything else.
And secondly, interrupt me.
Oh wait, sorry, is that a problem now?
Secondly-
Is suddenly that a problem?
Secondly,
Suddenly that a problem?
your
Weird, that
analogy-
isn't it?
okay, your analogy
interrupt.
is not backed.
He
well.
didn't let me speak.
I'm finished.
Right, he's finished. Okay, so 4 minutes.
3 minutes.
Oh no, 4 minutes, 4 minutes. We agreed. That's what you said. 4 minutes, 4
I said
minutes.
4 minutes because you spoke too much, and then I gave
And
him
then
an extra
3 minutes, 3 minutes.
No.
Fair enough. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let me give another criticism of zakat.
Alright.
So another criticism of zakat. Bear with me 1 second while I find it. 1 second. Where is it? Where is it? So here's another criticism of zakat.
Okay.
It has failed the Muslim heart. It has failed the Muslim heart.
Why?
A study done by a charity, research conducted by the National Zakat Foundation. So this is research done by a Muslim Zakat Foundation,
Alright.
finds that only 66% of Muslims actually give zakat.
How many?
Only 66% of Muslims.
66.
By contrast, brothers and sisters, we Christians who have no obligatory tax like the Muslims do in zakat,
Okay.
has been found in research to give. Let me just find it for you.
check.
Let me just show you.
Show us.
Right, let me just, that 87% of Christians regularly donate to charity. 87% of Christians. So without any obligation in our faith, Christians, on average, 87% of them are giving to charity, and even with an obligatory tax called zakat, only 66% are Muslims. Here's the amazing thing.
Tell us.
Here's the amazing thing.
Tell us.
The studies of American Christians and their giving in America show that the average Christian in America gives, guess what?
How many?
2.5% of their income to charity without it ever being an obligation.
2.5.
So we have already met the obligation. They're good Christians, and the Muslims could do better. They could do better because their obligational tax has failed to change their hearts. Because their teaching has not changed them. How am I doing for time?
1 minute left.
1 minute left. The reality is, brothers and sisters,
Reality.
that Christ's and the apostles' teachings about giving to charity, that I'll talk about in my next 3 minutes, has served the Christian heart better than Islam's obligatory zakat. And it is a tax, ladies and gentlemen. Why is it a tax?
Why?
Because it is enforced by the state. If a Muslim in an Islamic state does not pay the zakat,
happens?
there are punishments connected to that. But if they do not give sadaqah, which is charity, there is no punishment from the Islamic State. So that's the difference. If the state enforces it in the law with punishments, it's a tax. And he said, oh, look, you know, this zakat can only be given to a certain cause. Well, so what? the government only uses 20% of my tax redistributively, and that money can't be given to defence. So it's the same. It's still a tax.
So this gentleman was saying that the West is collecting the taxes from the Westerners to wage wars in the Middle East, and to what he's saying is to give the military the equipment to wage wars, to kill people. So my friend, you need to understand that the taxes of the Westerners, a large sum of that is implemented to wage wars in the Middle East and not go into charities as you presume. Muslims, on the other hand, they are the only persons, okay, who give the charity compulsory to the poor people, okay, with the certainty that all people benefit from that, okay. And I don't know where did you come up with your distorted statistics, because obviously they are biased. I don't trust you, to be honest. Okay, so I will reject that. Yeah, you can laugh, it's no problem. Yeah. So your biased statistics are not, they are not impressing the crowd here, okay? They are smarter than you and these statistics. Okay, so I don't have more arguments to say, because, to be honest...
And how about if they're correct?
Yeah.
And how about if they're correct?
Wait, bro, don't give him an opportunity to back out.
Even
This is still his time.
correct, it's with us. These statistics really enforce our claims, because it's 66% we give.
No, it's not. You still got how long?
Yeah.
Minute
So
and a half.
66% we give, it's beneficial.
Are you done?
I'm
Okay, 3 minutes for me, please. So he said to me, where am I getting my information from? I'll tell you where I'm getting my information from. With regards to the fact that only 66% of Muslims pay their Zakat, I'm getting that from the National Zakat Foundation. Does that sound like a Christian organisation? Don't interrupt. Where did I get it from? Where did I get it from that Muslims can't give their Zakat to non-Muslims? I got it from Islam QA, and it says it is not permissible to give zakat on one's wealth or crops to kafirs, to non-believers. So I quoted two Muslim sources, and the Muslims triggered because they're losing the argument. He's triggered because they're losing the argument. Now, ladies and gentlemen, he's triggered. Stop interrupting, ladies and gentlemen. So let's look at why do Christians do better in terms of their charitable giving than Muslims? Why? And he didn't address the point, notice, ladies and gentlemen, when I showed that Sadaqah is not punished if you don't give it under Sharia law. But Zakah, if you don't give it as a Muslim under Sharia law, would be punished. And that's why it's not a charity. Don't believe in the taqiyya. That was taqiyya. But why do Christians do better? How am I doing for time? Why do Christians do better? Because of teachings like this. Do not neglect to do good and to share what you have, for such sacrifices are pleasing to God. Whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay him for his good deeds. That's Proverbs 19:17, and the previous one was Hebrews 13:16. Notice it doesn't say only to Jews. It doesn't say only to Christians. It says those who are poor. When Christ defined who is your neighbor, he said that your neighbor was the Samaritan who looked after the Jew. Right. And those were different religions in those times. Right. It says in 2 Corinthians 9:7, each one must give as he has decided in his own heart, not reluctantly or under compulsion. Notice the difference, Muslims. For God loves a cheerful giver. And it's these kinds of teachings that have inspired more Christians to give more charity than Muslims give in zakat, even though for them it's an obligation. How am I doing for time?
I have a question. From which nation these statistics are? You said national zakat. Which nation?
The UK.
The UK. So you bring statistics, okay?
From a Muslim charity.
Of a Muslim single charity.
Yes. So bring better statistics. No. Oh, don't interrupt suddenly. Don't interrupt suddenly. But you did interrupt me though.
So you give statistics of one charity.
Well, give me others.
In the UK.
Give me others.
Collect zakat from the Muslims.
Give me others.
And you say you portray this that here 2 billion people of Muslims, just 66% give zakat.
No, I said in the UK.
No, this one single charity in the UK that collects zakat,
yes,
and says that 66% give, and he's proud of this. He done his research.
Well, he's more than you.
Okay, so the crowd now know that you cannot be trusted because it's not enough.
Apparently, you are all convinced by his argument. They're laughing at you. They're literally laughing at you. So let me quote the Charity Times, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm done with you here, all right?
The Charity Times is not a Christian organisation. He's running away. Of course he's running away. Of course he's running away. He's running away. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. The Charity Times, bring your cameras back. Bring the cameras back. So, guys, oh, he's triggered. He's triggered because he lost the debate. He's triggered because he lost the debate. All right. So let's be clear.
He's just shouting.
Let's be clear. The Charity Times. Go pay your zakat, then come back. So the Charity Times. The Charity Times is one of the 66%. Good for him. Right? The Charity Times is a secular newspaper. It is not a Christian newspaper. And listen what the Charity Times says. The survey produced by the marketing agency TMH revealed 87% of Christians regularly donate to charity, which is considerably higher than the rest of the UK, of which only 61% of non-Christians donate to charity. So Christians don't just outstrip Muslims when it comes to giving charity. Christians outstrip everybody when it comes to giving to charity. And why do we do it?
Why?
Why do we do it? I'll show you why. Let me show you. It's because we are inspired by the teachings that we find in Scripture. This is in Matthew 6, verse 2. Thus when you give to the needy, thus when they give to the needy, thus when you give to the needy, sound no trumpet before you as the hypocrites do, because don't the Muslims make a song and dance of their zakat?
And they pray in the corners.
Don't they pray on the corners so everyone can see? It goes on, no trumpet before you as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may be praised by others. Truly I say to you, they have received their reward. The meaning of that is that as Christians, we must work. We are motivated by that internal desire to please God. We're not forced to do it by the state. We're not forced to do it by fear. We do it because we are inspired by God. No one's interested. It says in Proverbs 21:13, whoever closes his ear to the cry of the poor will himself call out and not be answered. So the point of Christian spirituality is that when we see the poor, we should understand that we should stand in solidarity with them and support them. That's what scriptures say. It says this. It says this. This is in Isaiah 58:10. If you pour yourself out for the hungry and satisfy the desire of the afflicted, then shall your light rise in the darkness and your gloom be as the noonday. It says there is joy in giving to the poor, joy in giving to the needy. And that is the point, ladies and gentlemen. We are inspired by these teachings, and Christians do better than the Muslims do in their zakat.
Correct.
The Muslim could not defend his religion from criticism.
Nothing.
All he ended up was doing was interrupting and then using ad hominem attacks and then running away.
That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. It kind of got heated in the middle, but in the end, we got to the conclusion about which faith looks better after the needy and the poor. Just to recap, the Muslim debater started off his whole defense by stating that zakat is a burden for Muslims and an obligation. That right there is enough to conclude that it's not charity. Charity is something done out of the heart, not because someone is forcing you to do it. Then, he was clutching at straws with that random example of Umar al-Khattab helping the blind Jewish man. That was a desperate move to save Islam from embarrassment. The topic of the debate was, can zakat be given to non-Muslims? Not some random story about a companion from centuries ago. And lastly, he got upset when Bob put those stats about Muslims giving zakat right in his face. And that clearly showed Christianity is way more ahead and superior in terms of setting the standard for giving charity. It's not even a competition. So, let me know in the comments. What do you think about zakat? Is it a charity or a discriminatory tax? Remember, he said it's a burden. That's it for now, folks. Hope you guys liked the video, and I'll see you on Tuesday.